Have you ever wondered if there might actually be a disaster forewarner in this world? It's not a satellite, it's not a piece of weather equipment, it's a mysterious, unknown creature. Whenever a major catastrophe is about to happen, it shows up beforehand, like a messenger from the underworld circling through the pitch-black sky, as if warning, predicting, or even sentencing what's about to come. And this creature isn't just some made-up story. In a museum in West Virginia, there is still a model of it on display. A human-shaped body, massive wings, and the most terrifying part, those glowing crimson eyes burning like fire in the darkness. This mysterious being is known as the Mothman. For more than half a century, Mothman has been one of the most bizarre and scientifically unexplainable entities in North America. The reason is simple. Mothman wasn't seen by just one person, and it wasn't just a local rumor. It was witnessed across different places at different times, and almost every time it appeared, disaster followed. Because of this, the theories surrounding Mothman have only grown darker. Some say it's a collector of souls, that every time it shows up before a disaster, it's there to take away the souls of those who will die. Others insist that Mothman causes the disasters, that wherever it appears, destruction follows. And there are people who firmly believe that from its physical features alone, this thing is absolutely not from Earth. And just like people guessed, for decades, whenever Mothman appeared, death and destruction weren't far behind. And every time the government tried to ignore it, cover it up, or explain everything away with science to calm the public, what came next was usually something even more undeniable, something even more tragic. All of this began in the winter of 1966. It was an ordinary night in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Out on the quiet outskirts of town, near the woods by the Ohio River, there was an old abandoned ammunition plant. 5 young workers were packing up their tools, ready to head home. The late autumn wind blew fallen leaves against the truck's windshield, and somewhere deep in the woods, owls let out a sharp cry. Suddenly, one of the workers pointed toward the direction of the Silver Bridge over the Ohio River, his voice trembling. "Look! What the hell is that?" The others immediately stopped what they were doing and turned to look. Under the faint moonlight, the 5 of them saw something that nearly made their hearts stop. The creature stood about 6 to 7 feet tall. Its body was shaped like a human, but covered in short, dark gray hair. The scariest part was that it had no visible head, just 2 burning red eyes located on its chest, glowing like pieces of coal pulled straight from a fire. When it spread its wings, the men finally realized how massive it truly was. The wingspan was wide enough to cover the entire front of a truck, the edges oily and reflective in the moonlight, part bat membrane, part rough, feathered texture like a giant bird. None of them knew what this creature was. None of them knew how long it had been standing there watching. The 5 workers were so terrified they couldn't even speak. It wasn't until one of them snapped out of it, shoved the man next to him, and then all at once, they bolted for the truck. The driver slammed the gas pedal. The truck lurched forward so violently it nearly jumped off the ground. Only after a long stretch of speeding away did they finally slow down. But in the rearview mirror, the creature was still standing in the exact same spot. Those crimson eyes flickering in the dark, as if watching them leave. When the 5 young workers made it back into town, the first thing they did was call the police. They gave a detailed report describing exactly what they had just seen. The police rushed to the location the workers mentioned, but once they arrived, there was nothing. No creature, no tracks, no evidence of any kind. Later, when the police brought in the 5 men for questioning, their testimonies were shockingly consistent. Every one of them insisted that what they saw was absolutely not a hallucination. They all claimed they had seen something that didn't belong to this world. One of the men was so terrified he moved out of Point Pleasant the very next day. But without evidence, the police couldn't accept such a bizarre claim based solely on a few people's words, so the case was quietly closed. Although nothing was found, this became the first clearly recorded sighting of the Mothman, and it would not be the last. Over the next 13 months, reports flooded the police station. Nearly 100 people claimed to have seen this winged, moth-like humanoid creature. Just 3 days after the workers' first encounter, something happened again. A local couple, the Millers, were driving near the Silver Bridge by the Ohio River when a black shadow swept over the top of their car and landed heavily in a tree ahead of them. Mr. Miller slammed the brakes. When the headlights lit up the creature in the branches, it looked exactly like the workers had described, covered in dark, feather-like fur and staring back at them with two enormous, glowing red eyes. In interviews later, Mrs. Miller recalled, "That thing just stood there watching us. It didn't move at all. Those red eyes looked like they could see right through the windshield, like it could read our thoughts." After about 30 seconds of that terrifying stare down, Mr. Miller stomped the gas pedal, speeding away. But the creature suddenly opened its wings, silent without a single sound, and took off into the air. It followed their car along the road for nearly 2 miles. Terrified, the Millers kept accelerating until they saw the lights of a gas station ahead. Only then did the black shadow disappear into the trees beside the road. Not long after that came one of the most dangerous Mothman encounters ever reported. This one from a Vietnam veteran who had just returned home. He was fishing at the edge of the Ohio River. He had just cast his line and was watching the float on the water when he suddenly noticed something on the gravel across the river. A creature nearly 2 meters tall, covered in pitch black fur, staring straight at him with those blood-red eyes. The veteran tried to get a clearer look, but before he could react, the creature spread its wings and lifted itself into the air. It hovered, head lowered, as if examining him from above. Terrified, the veteran grabbed the shotgun beside him and aimed. But just as he was about to pull the trigger, a sharp pain exploded inside his skull. A loud buzzing, like electricity, rang through his head, and everything went black. When he opened his eyes again, he was lying in his own bed at home. He had no idea how he got there. This terrifying incident was the one that finally put the name Mothman in the local newspapers. At first, the nickname sounded like a joke, but it quickly became the only name people used for the creature. And the moment that transformed Mothman from a local tale into a worldwide mystery came in December of 1967. December 15th, 1967. It was the peak of the Christmas shopping season in Point Pleasant. The Silver Bridge, the steel bridge that had connected West Virginia and Ohio for 39 years, was packed with cars. People were driving back and forth with Christmas gifts, completely unaware of what was about to happen. Around 5 p.m. that afternoon, a local nurse named Linda was driving across the bridge. Suddenly, her car shook violently, as if something had slammed into it. She looked up and saw something she would never forget for the rest of her life. The Silver Bridge was bending, like a piece of wet noodle. Cars in front of her began dropping straight into the freezing Ohio River. At the same time, she heard a deafening crack, like thunder ripping through metal. And then, a shadow glided over the roof of her car. Through her window, Linda could clearly see it. A creature covered in black, feather-like fur, controlling a pair of enormous wings. The Mothman flying above the collapsing bridge. Up in the air, the Mothman didn't attack, didn't scream, didn't move. It just hovered there, watching the disaster unfold with emotionless, glowing red eyes. Within minutes, the Silver Bridge was gone. 73 vehicles plunged into the sub-zero river. 46 people were killed. 23 were injured. It became one of the deadliest bridge collapses in 20th century American history. And here's the disturbing part. In the hour before the collapse, at least 3 different people reported seeing the Mothman. Someone saw it perched in the trees near the river. Someone else saw it fly over their car as they drove toward the bridge. And a little girl pointed out the window and told her mother, "Look, Mommy, that man with wings is watching us." But the strangest thing of all, after the Silver Bridge fell, the Mothman vanished from Point Pleasant. No more sightings, no more reports. It disappeared as if it had finished its mission. After the tragedy, the National Transportation Safety Board released its official conclusion. The bridge's main suspension chain had been worn down for years, and the winter cold made the metal brittle, leading to catastrophic failure. But that scientific explanation didn't calm the town. People couldn't ignore the pattern. Why did so many people see the Mothman right before the disaster? And why did it vanish the moment the tragedy happened? So another theory spread, one more terrifying than the rest. Mothman wasn't a warning. Mothman wasn't the cause. Mothman was the symbol, the sign that the disaster was inevitable. From the moment the Mothman appeared, the tragedy was already set in motion. After the Silver Bridge collapse, the legend of the Mothman spread across the United States and soon attracted researchers and enthusiasts from all over the world. The most famous among them was writer John Keel. In 1975, he published The Mothman Prophecies, a book that documented, in detail, the 13 months when the Mothman appeared again and again in Point Pleasant, until the day the Silver Bridge fell. During his investigation, Keel discovered something shocking. The legend of the Mothman was almost identical to ancient Native American stories from the same region. For hundreds of years, the Shawnee tribe had passed down the story of a creature called Wakuchi. It was described as a winged man living in caves with eyes that glowed like fire, and it appeared before disaster struck the tribe. The Shawnee believed Wakuchi was a messenger of nature. It didn't come to hurt people, it came to warn them. This discovery made many people believe that the Mothman wasn't an alien, but a forgotten species of Earth. Maybe the last surviving relative of ancient pterosaurs, or an unknown creature living deep in underground caves. After all, Point Pleasant is surrounded by the Appalachian Mountains. There are countless unexplored caves inside those mountains, and no one knows what might still be living in the darkness below. Today, Point Pleasant is no longer the terrified town it once was. After the collapse, the government rebuilt a new bridge on the original site and named it the Silver Memorial Bridge. 46 white wreaths hang along the rails, honoring the victims who died that night. On the town's main street, there's even a Mothman museum. Inside are eyewitness reports, newspaper articles, models of the creature, and all kinds of memorabilia. Outside the museum stands a 12-foot statue of the Mothman. Gray body, red eyes, wings slightly open, as if watching over the town it once terrified. And every December, Point Pleasant hosts the Mothman Festival. People from all over the world, researchers, believers, tourists, come to hear eyewitnesses tell their stories. Some even form night expeditions to the old ammunition factory, hoping to see the Mothman for themselves. For the people of Point Pleasant now, the Mothman is no longer a symbol of fear. It has become a part of the town's culture. It brings visitors, brings money, and gives this quiet little town a unique identity that the whole world knows. If the story of the Mothman had only happened in Point Pleasant, people might have simply called it a strange local legend. But what truly shocked researchers was this: creatures almost identical to the Mothman have been reported in different countries, in different time periods, and in completely different cultures. And every time, they appeared right before a major disaster. For example, in 1978, in Freiburg, Germany, a group of miners working the night shift saw a pitch-black, winged humanoid creature blocking the entrance to the mine. It let out a shrill, piercing scream, as if trying to drive them away. Terrified, the workers ran back to the surface. The very next day, the mine collapsed. If they had gone inside as usual, every single one of them would have been buried alive. In 1985, just before the massive earthquake in Mexico, someone captured footage of a pair of glowing red eyes gliding between skyscrapers. In 1997, right before the Asian financial crisis, multiple sailors in Hong Kong claimed they saw a huge black shadow with wings flying low across Victoria Harbor. And even before the 9/11 attacks in 2001, dozens of witnesses in Virginia reported seeing a flying creature with red eyes racing toward the direction of the World Trade Center. Not a single country acknowledged these sightings. No official organization ever explained them, but the reports still exist. It's like a global language that has been erased, a story everyone tells, but one that is never allowed to become fact.